So let's get into it. I mean, we found some information out about the Oculus Quest. And one of the key information bits that we do have is that the Oculus Quest is starting at $399. Now that kind of clues us in. We know that the initial, well, the $399 version is a 64 gig version. Now, there could definitely be other versions, and considering they said starting, there probably is going to be other versions, possibly with a different kind of a head strap, maybe double the amount of storage. Will there be any kind of expandable storage? Oculus has been mum on the entire expandable storage thing for both the Oculus Go and now Oculus Quest as well. Now, the launch for the Oculus Quest, unfortunately, we don't have a concrete launch date. We don't have a launch month. What we do have is spring of 2019. And I looked it up. When is spring of 2019? What period does it span? And spring 2019 begins technically on Wednesday, March 20th, and it runs all the way until June 21st. So that is the entire breadth of spring. So you have really late March, you got all of April and May, and you got early June technically being spring. Obviously, we're hoping we get this maybe late March, April, May. June is kind of pushing it, but that technically is spring 2019. Some other things that we know about the Oculus Go is arena scale tracking, and we're going to get into that in just a minute. Arena scale tracking and multi-room guardian. It remembers. It remembers. Do you know what movie that's from? And Vader Immortal, Episode 1, a brand new game that will be coming to the Oculus Quest on launch day and will be exclusively available for the Oculus Quest for a limited amount of time. And since I'm talking about Vader Immortal, why don't we go ahead and check that trailer out? It gives us just a very brief, quick second of some actual, if I can speak here, some actual Oculus Quest gameplay footage and the GPU that is under the hood there. So let's check this out.
Captain, I need you in the cockpit now. That's impossible. Something's pulled us out of hyperspace.
You may wonder why I have brought you here.
So that is Vader Immortal, and it is going to be launching hopefully day and date with the Oculus Quest. Hopefully we're talking late March, maybe April. I can tell you, man, watching all this stuff, seeing the Oculus Quest, I actually had an opportunity to go down to Oculus Connect 5 this year, and I didn't take that opportunity, mainly because I didn't want to spend the $300, and I didn't want to drive all the way to San Jose, go to Oculus Connect 5, and then drive all the way back. It's a hell of a drive. And I decided to pass on it. But man, I'm seriously jelly, because look at that. People are there. People are there, and they are trying Oculus Quest systems right now. They're getting a feel for the 6 DOF. That's the other thing, 6 DOF. So I guess 6 DOF is a thing. 6 degrees of freedom, 6 DOF, but we're going to say 6 DOF. So they're getting a sample of 6 DOF on the headset, on the controllers, actual Oculus Touch controllers, just with the rings going in the other direction, basically. So let me go ahead and check over here in chat. I Am Rhett says, so they're sticking with the crappy limited space model, no SD card, count me out. Isn't that a little bit like technical, I Am Rhett, though? I mean, just over that reason, it's an irritant. It's an irritant. It's kind of like a Sony Vita kind of thing, really, when you think about it, that whole storage game. Sin Raikai says, I'm so excited to get my hands on Oculus Quest. Fuzzy Dragon, I'm downloading Vox Machinae. Yes, does everybody know Vox Machinae is currently available right now? It is a stealth release for Vox Machinae, and when you heard about it at Oculus Connect 5, you thought, oh, this is an Oculus exclusive. Vox Machinae is an Oculus exclusive, but no, Vox Machinae is available on Steam, so you can grab that from Steam if you want to do that. Terry Blanchard says, Quest is currently on my Quest list. And Jim Hall says, look, this is basically a Go with 6 degrees of freedom controllers. But look at that Darth Vader right there. That Darth Vader, that polygonal model, I am assuming that that is running in-game engine on the Oculus Quest. And what we don't know is we don't know a lot of the technical specifications of the Oculus Quest. We have some minor technical specifications, but we don't have the full list of specifications. Basically, the optics are almost exactly the same as the Oculus Go with a slightly higher resolution. So we're talking about the same field of view. So not much of a difference there. We do have this arena scale tracking mode. And the arena scale tracking mode, let me go ahead and show you guys a real quick clip of some pictures of this, because this is one of the more interesting things I think that this features altogether. Okay, this is Dead and Buried Arena Scale. Okay, so this is from the Oculus blog, their innovation zone, Dead and Buried Arena. They talked about this on the show during Oculus Connect 5, 4,000 square foot setup where they could put all these people into a game at the same time. That kind of gives you an idea, real life and then the game world, and then somebody from the outside can simply hold up a tablet, move it all around, and they see exactly what is happening in the video game world. They can move it down and see what regular people are doing. So this is Dead and Buried Arena. So one of the cool things about Oculus Quest is this is going to be an exciting product for everybody in the VR arcade market, because if these things can communicate with each other in the same local area, and developers can design multiplayer style games where everybody is in a confined environment and they communicate with each other, like, that is super huge for the arcade market as well. Now, here's the thing though. I had a number of big questions about this. Like, what are the biggest questions I have? And the single biggest question I have, number one, expandable memory. Is this thing going to have expandable memory, or are we going to play the Vita game? Because we're kind of playing the Vita game with the Oculus Go. The Oculus Go, we got a 32 gig bare bones version. That's the one I got. You got the 64 gig where you're doubling up, but you're not doubling up that much. And so it's almost kind of like the Vita game. So we got to wonder about the expandable memory. Question number two, are we talking about a Snapdragon 435? How can they possibly squeeze a Snapdragon 435 into the Oculus Quest and price it at $399? It does not, that doesn't work, you know? That doesn't compute. That doesn't work. How is this possible? Now, it's possible because Facebook, you want to talk about a company that has money to burn. Facebook has money to burn like almost no other company on planet Earth. So if they wanted to subsidize the Oculus Quest to a heavy degree, just at the very beginning, just to get it up and running, that's something they can do. That's something that Facebook is capable of. I said I wanted this Santa Cruz, which is what we were calling it. I wanted Santa Cruz to be $599, but I wanted it to have the Snapdragon 435. I wanted it to be pretty solid. It's hard for me to imagine that this has the 435. It's $200 cheaper, $399. $399 is a much more mass market price. Now, somebody in chat a little bit earlier, yeah, the 845. I'm talking about the 845. I'm sorry, not the 835. Number 3, is there any AR capabilities? Is there any kind of pass-through video? I was really hoping for some AR, some pass-through video. When Michael Abrosh got on there and he was talking about AR and VR in the future and all of that, he talked about how it's just gonna combine. It's just gonna merge into itself. AR is gonna merge into VR. VR is gonna merge into AR. And I was hoping we might get a tiny little taste of that in the Santa Cruz, because I knew it was gonna have all these cameras for the tracking, but it would need to have 2 additional stereoscopic cameras for AR and pass-through capabilities, and I don't think that it has that. So that's kind of unfortunate. We didn't hear any information about cross-buy for the Oculus Quest because, you know, you're buying Robo Recall, you're buying the Climb, you're buying the Moss, Dead and Buried, Super Hot. Do you have to buy each individual version of each individual game? We kind of wanted to have some kind of a cross-buy thing. And then maybe one of my biggest, well, this question has kind of been answered. One of the questions I asked, can you have 2 Oculus Quest units in the same physical space, and do they recognize each other in the same physical space? Can you play local co-op? Can me and a guy be standing right here and we're in the same game and I kind of see where his head and hands are, he sees where my head and hands are, maybe we have some inverse kinematics in our body. Can we both be in the same game, in the same place, in the same physical area? And that question has basically been answered because of that Dead and Buried arena tracking capability. So it has that ability as well. Fuzzy Dragon says Creed and Vox both have impeccable production values. Dude, Fuzzy Dragon, just think about the month of freaking September. I honestly believe now that Vox Machinae has sneaked out in the last couple of days of September, has there been a better VR month than September 2018 in terms of a full breadth of titles? Because we're talking about, man, how many games have come out this month? You got stuff like Transference, you've got Blind, you've got Chiaro and the Elixir of Life, you've got Creed, you've got a bunch of games came to PlayStation VR as well, like Downward Spiral Aura Station. September has been one of the most powerful months I've seen in recent time. So many games, it is so difficult. Oh, Jet Island. Jet Island. I mean, there's so many other little games that came. Windlands 2. Windlands 2. The biggest game of the month probably. And I forgot about this. This month is murder. This month is straight up murder. You would think Space Bullet, like, dude, I know you had this time for Oculus Connect 5, but man, this month is murder. See, personally, if I was a regular civilian out there and I had to buy all these games like a normal regular gamer would buy games, I would already be tapped out. My money for the month of September would already be gone. It would have been gone towards Windlands 2. It would have been gone towards Transference. Maybe one other game if I'm lucky. And my budget would have been expired. And the next game that I would probably be waiting for would be Astrobot on October 2nd. So Jeremy Horwitz, this guy is a writer for VentureBeat, and he tweeted this out today at 5:04 a.m. What is bro doing up at 5:04 a.m. in the first damn place? But here's what he tweeted out. VR is about 1 week away from having its Super Mario 64 moment. I can't get into details, but I don't say that lightly. If you are even remotely interested in VR, the rules are about to be redefined and jaws are going to drop. Jaws are going to drop. So these are some really big time claims by Jeremy Horwitz of VentureBeat. Once again, VR is about 1 week away from having its Super Mario 64 moment. I can't get into details, but I don't say that lightly. If you're even remotely interested in VR, the rules are about to be redefined and jaws are going to drop. What is he talking about here, folks? Is he talking about one of the 3 Valve games that we don't know about? Is he talking about maybe that Respawn game that we didn't get to see today? You know, what about the stuff that we didn't get to see today? We don't have a release date for Defector. What's up with that? I'm hoping that's something they're saving for tomorrow, so there's a little bit of news tomorrow. Tomorrow we get the release date for Defector. I don't know. We do have Lone Echo 2. Really? Lone Echo 2? I thought this was just a little minor expansion pack. Apparently they're talking about Lone Echo 2. No, this is not OC5 news. He's saying this at 5:04 a.m. today, and he's talking about something we're going to find out about next week. Now, some people are speculating that he's talking about Astrobot, because Astrobot is like Super Mario, and Astrobot comes out next week. But I don't know. I think he's talking about like some kind of major hardware thing, you know? Yeah, because it's about, the rules are about to be redefined. Like, how do you redefine the rules with software? So I'm thinking this, I mean, who knows? There could be a headset, a new VR headset that could come out of nowhere and it could shock the world. That would be super cool. So, I mean, this is Oculus Connect Day, and here we got a major rumor. Is this a Vive plant? You know, is HTC trying to take a little thunder away from the Oculus Quest? I don't know, you tell me, but that is kind of interesting. Now, of course, here is a major announcement. We're talking about Lone Echo 2. Let's go ahead and check this out. Really, Lone Echo 2? This is really a full-fledged sequel?
Jack, can you hear me? How did we end up here?
You are the only person who calls me Jack.
Is that your way of saying you're going to miss me?
Anomaly detected.
I'm gonna get you patched up. I promise. Not to jinx it, but I think we're actually making progress here. Oh, damn it! I don't know if I can do this, Jack. Your systems are failing. I barely managed to keep your core memory alive.
Are you injured?
What the hell is this? Jack, please.
Morning, sunshine.
Jack! Oh, thank God.
Captain Rhodes, report to observation.
Don't say a word. They can't know you're online. I promise I'll explain everything when I get back. I'm going to need your help.
There's also a 360 version of the trailer that you can check out. So if you go to the Oculus blog, they're calling it Lone Echo 2. Like on the Oculus blog, it actually says Lone Echo 2. So I always thought that this was kind of like a DLC. It was kind of like an additional story, like a bonus thing, like an expansion pack almost. I didn't think that this was like a full-fledged sequel to the original Lone Echo. And I'm not sure it is a full-fledged sequel to the original Lone Echo, but if you go to the Oculus blog, they're actually calling this Lone Echo 2. And so tomorrow, we're going to do this show tomorrow at noon because I do want to see the John Carmack keynote. I definitely want to see that. I think John Carmack, pretty fascinating. I probably will not understand half of what he's talking about, but he has a lot of great insights. He tells it straight up like it is. He doesn't really hold anything back. I love John Carmack, so I'm looking forward to that talk. So we will go ahead and start at noon Pacific time tomorrow. All right, folks, so there is a website, of course, VR Game Rankings, the website. Be sure to check that out. Definitely subscribe to the channel, like the video, all that good stuff, and I will see everybody tomorrow at noon Pacific time. So noon Pacific time tomorrow. See you guys then. Take it easy. Later.